Listeners, welcome back to Tales of Abundance. I am here with Anthony Marino again today, and we have a guest, Louis Bolman, who has some very interesting coffee. And Louis is a medical doctor from Guadalajara, Mexico, and has a business that's based here in the States, selling coffee. And so tell us, we'll come back to the coffee. Just give the listeners a real quick, what is different about this coffee?
Thanks for having me. The difference is the formula. It has customized vitamins and minerals to help collagen be absorbed. Not a single collagen out there in the market has it. It's the only one.
Okay. So that's where we're going, folks. Let's go back to the beginning. You're from Guadalajara, Mexico.
I am.
You were born and raised there?
Actually, I'm from Mexico City.
Okay.
But I have lived in many countries.
Okay.
Austria, Germany, Switzerland.
Okay. Well, let's unpack that for a minute. What took you to all those countries?
Well, I'm a medical doctor, but I did further studies in terms of many things as a doctor in Vienna, Austria. Also, I went to Berlin, Germany, to the biggest hospital. It's called the Charité.
Okay.
It's a fancy hospital. Also, I went to a lovely clinic in southern Germany, the Michael Ried. It's in German. I mean,
okay.
And that's it. I learned so many things in Europe.
Yeah. How long were you over there total?
About 18 months, I guess.
Okay. So many things. Give us an example. What are some of those things you learned? Like what were your big takeaways?
It's a great question. You see, everybody in the staff is so professional. I have never seen that ever in my entire life.
Are you talking Germany and Austria now in particular?
Yeah. And they have, in Austria, at the main hospital, they have 2 helicopters, 2 choppers, like you guys say, just to bring patients in immediately. If they have a heart attack, a stroke, you name it. They just fly the helicopter to the location and bring the patient in. It's beautiful.
Better than an ambulance.
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay.
No traffic.
No traffic jams. Okay. Cool. And then you opened your practice in Guadalajara, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you had that actively going?
For around 12 years now.
12 years. Okay. And a general practitioner?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But you mentioned that you have kind of converted. You're a little more, what do you call
holistic therapies? Well, I didn't convert. I have been a holistic therapist, or you name it, my entire life, because I'm a 3rd generation of health practitioners. Okay. My grandma was actually from the United States, proudly a Southern lady.
Okay.
She was from Louisiana and Texas, and she was a nurse, and she was a herbalist, and she taught my mom, and my mom taught me in terms of herbs.
Okay.
Herbulary.
Is that common in Mexico? Because, that's becoming more common in the U.S. and certainly in certain pages. Is that something that is fairly common or rare? Or
it is very common.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say outside of the United States, it's very common. Even in Europe.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, in Vienna, Austria, the hospital I was in, it's the AKH in German language. If you go to the emergency room, they would ask you, do you want to have normal therapy or do you go alternative therapy? And you choose. Sounds weird, I know, but I witnessed it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, now, that doesn't happen in America.
In those environments, do they blend both?
Sometimes, which that would be fantastic. It's a Solomonic answer for illnesses.
Give me an example where in the United States, we've missed the boat in terms of taking advantage. I shouldn't say taking advantage. We overemphasize traditional medicine when it's very obvious to you that a combined or a different approach would make more sense. And let's start with kids, because in the United States, we're well known for giving an antibiotic to a child every time they cough or they can't sleep and what have you. So can you talk to that a little bit?
I appreciate the question. It's a very wise question.
Yeah, I have 5 grandchildren, so that's why I'm raising the question.
Wisdom is speaking or asking in this case. Well, instead of just loading these kids with medications who have, for instance, hyperactivity or sleeping disorders, you name it. Instead of doing that, you can also help these kids getting rid of all the artificial sweeteners, all the artificial dyes that are in the food. You can get rid of all that, and I can tell you more than 50% of these kids will improve immediately. But they don't do it. I'm very happy that Bobby Kennedy Jr. just banned like 8 dyes for food. That's fantastic. You were taking too long in Europe. They already banned it 20 years ago or so.
So Bobby is really focused on ADHD and kids and autism. Is the incidence of autism and ADHD in other parts of the country much lower than the United States? Is it markedly different?
It's a fair question. It is. But also, I gotta be honest, it is biased because in terms of statistics, the United States is the best at keeping track of it. The other countries kind of don't keep track as well as you.
Okay.
Isn't there, correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't there a stat that like whatever percent number of people have autism in the general U.S., in the Amish communities where they don't, they eat clean, they don't have any vaccines? Isn't it like just almost unheard of? Isn't that accurate?
Yeah, it is, which means that you're doing something wrong in civilization, right? In cities.
Right.
What are you guys doing wrong? I don't know exactly, but I know a couple of things. You're taking too many artificial things in your food. That's to begin with. I'm referring to children, of course. You guys take so much sugar. So much. That's outrageous, shocking for me. I don't get it. Why do you do it? And well, also, if I may make a mild criticism to the United States, you guys usually hand over your phone to your child instead of educating him. This is what is educating your children nowadays. I don't think that's healthy. If you look into King Charles from England, or what's the name of his daughter and son? Kate. She banned cell phones to his children. That's lovely. We should do that too.
Or at least limit them, right?
At least,
they don't need to be on them all day, for sure.
Yeah, they should be just playing on the grass fields and just having fun.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. There's multiple tech people that don't allow their kids screen time, or they really limit. Like some of the people that are the most responsible for some of these social media platforms, and I forget the exact names, but I've heard them on interviews on other podcasts, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't allow my kids to have screens." And I'm thinking, "Oh, this is fantastic." It's they know better, and they know the dangers, and they do it. I think it's probably no different than the people making these foods full of sugar and all of the the bad crap that's in the food, right? I mean, I'm guessing they're not eating.
Plus, toddlers need to interact with their peers, not with this. I cannot swear, right? I shouldn't.
Go ahead. Whatever.
Not interact with this bloody item. They need
swearing.
to interact with their peers.
Yeah.
That is it has become a bit of a movement among the 30-something moms and dads. So it is moving in the United States where they're getting into gentle parenting, avoiding TV. My generation in particular, and maybe Randy as well, the television was the babysitter. At my daughter's house, both daughters and my son, they're very limited on their screen time, and they're very conscious about they use the iPads for education. If he's on the iPad, he's doing math, he's doing English, spelling, and what have you. They're all below, 8 years old or younger. So there is a bit of that movement, but the excuse that we give in the United States is that there is a segment of society that is they can't get to that because they're dual working families. They may come from a lower income. They live in food deserts where they can't get whole foods, or the whole foods are so darn expensive that they can't afford it, and so forth. I think that's an excuse that hopefully or in the near term, we can start to move that away. You know, this person that's running for mayor in New York talks about government-run grocery stores. Probably not a great idea, but his intent is correct, is to put a grocery store in an impoverished neighborhood where they can get Whole Foods. You know, so his intent is right. His execution may or may not be. That remains to be seen. So I'm a bit optimistic, actually, of where we're headed. But while we have you, I'm just curious the juxtaposition of our vaccine approach for children, because again, I just had a granddaughter, and they've got her scheduled for, I think, 30 odd doses of vaccine over some short period of time. How does that compare with the rest of the world?
I beg your pardon, 30 shots?
30 shots, somewhere between 20 and 30 shots. I'm certain of it's greater than 20. It may not be quite 30, but before she enters into the first grade, which is going to be in 5 or 5.5 years, that's the course of events in the United States.
That's way too much. Way too much. Too much burden on the immune system, I would say. And it has implications and reverberations and consequences in their immune system. We don't want that. It's way too much. I would encourage our distinguished viewers to boost your children's immune system by making them strong, not by sugarcoating everything. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, because you're filling the body with
heavy metals.
Yeah, heavy metals.
Did you know that?
The actual disease. So things like measles. Do you vaccinate in Mexico or in Europe for measles?
Yes.
Not COVID, I'm sure.
Not mandatory.
Yeah,
no.
How many, a kid, so in this scenario, by the time they're 5 or 6, how many vaccines would they get in Mexico?
It depends, but approximately 15.
15? That's a lot too.
Look, it's an undeveloped country. I get it that we want to get rid of many illnesses, infectious illnesses, but the United States has no outbreaks of
cholera.
Exactly, like we have.
Right.
It's insane to have 30 shots of vaccine. It's way too much. Plus, nobody is talking about the heavy metals in the vaccine. But in order to create a reaction with the immune system, you need to add the heavy metals.
Mercury, right?
Exactly. Do you want to have mercury in your system? I don't think so.
Right. Mercury poisoning is a thing. And is it all vaccines? What percentage of those vaccines do you think have mercury in them?
I'm not expert, and I'm no expert in terms of vaccines, so I wouldn't be able to answer your question. But I know many have mercury.
Wasn't this one of the things RFK was doing, was taking the mercury out of the vaccines?
I don't know.
Am I mistaken on that?
I don't know that.
I know he's talked about it, but I feel like one of the things he's accomplished in the last 6 months or whatever is he banned mercury from the vaccines. Now, I don't know that it's gone into effect, because sometimes the government says, hey, we're going to do this, and then it's 3 months, 6 months, a year or whatever before it actually happens.
We need to look into that topic.
Yeah.
I respect him very much. He's very courageous and brave.
Yeah.
You can disagree with him. I get it, but he has some testicles.
Yeah. No, he definitely does. He's been braver than almost anybody else there.
You know, people forget he's my age, and I grew up in Massachusetts. He went to different schools than I went to, but his first role out of college was to help provide heating oil for low-income people. So he started a company where he was buying heating oil and selling it at below market rates to people that couldn't afford things. His heart is in the right place. That's my point about it. And everything he's done, his heart has always been in the right place. As you said, you can argue, fight the science, methodologies and all that. But I'll take the guy with heart any day. I'll start there, and we'll work the other stuff out. Because you start with the right intent, only good generally can come from that.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to make it a thing about Bobby Kennedy, but
Well,
you
but
know, having grown up at the same time with him and with the same kind of environment, and well, not the same environment. His environment was a little bit different, more tragic for sure. You know, when you think about it. But yeah, and I think hopefully, you know, he's become a catalyst for a change.
well, to your point, Anthony, it occurs to me, you know, as Liz was talking about the pharmaceutical companies and the food and all that stuff, right? Why is that stuff in there? And you're talking about he's coming at it with the heart, whereas my feeling is all of this poison and this crap that's in our food, they're not putting it in because they think it's good for people. I don't even think they are putting it in because they want to poison people. I just think it helps them make a few extra $1 million, and therefore they're incentivized for their own personal gain. And while they may not want to poison people, they're okay poisoning people if they get rich. It seems like the exact opposite of what you're talking about with RFK.
I would like to quote the Greeks, Tineo danaos edona perentes. Folks won't get it, but I distrust the Greeks even when they bring gifts. So I am quite suspicious in terms of all the food with the artificial flavors and dyes and sweeteners and so on and so forth. I distrust the food industry. I think at some point they make it deliberately. They add these ingredients to cause some harm, because if you go down the rabbit hole, sometimes the same shareholder of these companies is the same as the pharmaceutical. So I'm quite suspicious.
Yeah. And as we should be, right? I mean, I think about like the high fructose corn syrup, and you can follow that back to incentives. So the way the American presidential election system happens, the first state that has its, what do you call it, primary caucus, whatever they have, is the state of Iowa.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Iowa is a huge, I think the biggest corn producing state. So what did they do? The government, Republicans and Democrats, this isn't one party or the other, they both are incentivized to make programs for those corn farmers, because that's how you can't take those away and then win Iowa. And so Iowa, while it seems like this little state with very few electoral votes, it has a lot of power because it always goes first. It sets the stage. Everybody wants to say they won the first primary. So they both cater to that farm thing. Well, you can't, if all of that high fructose corn syrup is, they're just incentivized to stay in power. They're incentivized to give farmers incentive to produce it, turn it into it, and put that junk in our food. Same thing with ethanol, by the way, in our fuel. It costs more money to make lower quality fuel with ethanol than it does from oil, but they will never take it away, or at least not that I see, because both parties are incentivized to keep doubling down on it so that they have a better chance of winning Iowa.
I need to raise a question. How come Iowa is the number one state when it comes to the order of elections? I have no idea.
I think, I don't know if you know it.
It's, as a lot of things in America, it's always been that case, right? So it always had been the Iowa caucus, which is a series of social gatherings where people will meet in veterans halls and city halls and get together as a group of 40 or 50. They will cast their representative of the population. They cast their votes. It's a very social environment. It doesn't have a lot of bearing on the ultimate outcome of the election, but it sets the stage for who's legitimate and who isn't. So, corn is their thing, right? So, and that's pretty much all they have. So the farmers, who are the soul of the country, you have to treat them with respect and dignity, right? So let's treat them with too much respect and too much dignity to earn their favor, is how it's approached. Then it moves on to New Hampshire, which is a completely different type of state. Their motto is live free or die. So when the politicians go there, they talk about freedom of speech and freedom to live your life and so on and so forth. So there's there's no agriculture. The messaging for those people are different. And as our politicians move from state to state, they find the focal point of that marketplace, if you will, and they pander to it. And that's what our system's all about, is pandering, so that we will ultimately vote them into office. And no better example than what just occurred in the last election in terms of how to pander to a population. So
Yeah, I mean, politicians are trying to buy votes, pure and simple. Like, what is going to incentivize people to vote for them? It's not much different than the kid running for student president that says free ice cream or free pizza or whatever, right?
Yes.
It's whatever free things they can give. And the voters, most people vote their own best interest, right? And so if you're a farmer in Iowa, or even if you live in Iowa, you know that a lot of your economy is tied to that. I think it's safe to say if Idaho was first, Idaho's known for potatoes.
I know.
Then it would be potatoes that they would be finding these uses for, right? Or whatever it is in that state. So anyway, we're down at what's interesting, and so thank you for going with us on a completely different journey here. But
we enjoy rabbit holes.
yes,
Me too.
Okay.
I don't mind. I'm actually right now reading the biographies of the first 15 presidents of the United States.
Well, tell me about that.
Andrew Jackson was a badass.
Yes, he was.
He was badass.
Yes, one of the most underrated presidents ever. Tell people why.
Well, his motto was something like, I'm just quoting, not verbatim, but something like this: "The bank tried to kill me, and I killed it."
Yes.
Something like this. That's the very core of the United States: freedom, being badass, tough, isn't it?
Right.
Or am I?
But by the way, what he's referring to, listeners, if you don't know the story, the founding fathers were very clear that the government was not going to have a central bank. They were like Washington, Jefferson, Adams. They all agreed we weren't going to have this. Well, at some point, the bankers created the first Bank of the United States, I believe it was called, and nobody would go up against him. And Andrew Jackson was the guy that finally, he ran on it. He said he was going to do it. They tried to assassinate him. I believe he killed the guy that he got shot, I think, but he killed him. And I forget the whole story, but he was the guy that killed the Fed. And after that time, America did very, very well, right? And, you know, that's arguably the best economic period in world history. It's when the middle class was created and a lot of good came. And then clearly in 1913, the Fed was created under Wilson and undid everything that he did. But that's one of the things. So what else? So Andrew Jackson's a badass. I like that.
Also, his protege, James Knox Polk.
Okay. I don't know hardly anything
From
about him.
1845 to, 4 years, he expanded the country westwards.
Yep.
He incorporated Texas, and he bought California, Arizona, and so on and so forth. I got a great advice that Jackson gave to James Polk's: marry the girl who doesn't give you a hard time. Such a great advice, isn't it?
It's hard to argue with. Anthony, you got a comment on that one?
I'm going to just let that go because, yeah, we'll just let that one go.
Anthony has been happily married for how many years?
46 years.
46 years. So
Lovely.
yes, and somehow Jan puts up with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll just go with that.
So she can't give you too hard of a time. All right. She puts up with you. All right. What else? This fascinates me. So what? Because look, we have our perspective here, but you coming from Mexico, I always find it interesting wherever I go in the world to find out other people's perspective, because you have a very different perspective than people that grew up here, I feel like. So what are your other big takeaways from the founding fathers and the first 15 presidents?
Well, to be very honest, our cosmogony is very different than yours. We're the mix of indigenous people and Spaniards. Our rhythm, the way we see the world is very different as Anglo-Saxons. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's just different.
Different.
We actually look up to you. Yeah. That's the reality. But at some point, we resent the fact that you guys took over Texas and Western United States, and we still have a grudge in terms of that. Not me, but
well, I was going to say your coffee business, which we'll get to it at some point,
yeah.
is in San Antonio. I mean, that's the home of the Alamo.
It
is
is.
that like part of the spy ring? You're going in to take back control?
No.
Okay.
No, by any stretch of the imagination. No.
Okay.
Well, I'm based in San Antonio because my accountant is there and my lawyer, and everything went really smooth to start my business in Texas. I love Texas, by the way. Mm-hmm. Truly, I do.
Yeah. What do you love about it?
the fact that everybody is very proud of the state to begin with. Also, my grandma was from here. And she was a very distinguished lady with wearing gloves and a hat, and very, very distinguished.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, a lot of the pride in Texas comes from the Battle of the Alamo, and I mean, I'm sure you're aware of that, obviously, but that is so. It's very interesting that Mexico still has a little bit of resentment, but that is where a lot of that pride comes from, is the Alamo and that whole battle, right? And Sam Houston, and come and take it. And there's a lot of strings to pull on there. I don't know anything. I find it also interesting when I asked him about. So he talked about reading biographies of the first 15 presidents, and I feel like an American. What percentage of Americans do you think would come in with Andrew Jackson?
I don't think any. I really don't. I mean, sadly,
Yeah.
we've moved away from educating about our history, the real history. It's the good is not covered deep enough. The bad is kind of glossed over. And I think my personal belief is that's where knowledge comes from. Knowledge truly comes from what came before you. What actually happened? How did I get here? What are the circumstances that put me in this moment in time? And how do I use those learnings to carry me forward? We were joking earlier today about, we had a podcast not too long ago, that we asked, what would you tell your 30-year-old self? And in rethinking that, one of the things I said to Randy was, have more respect for my elders and their knowledge, and what I can learn from them, instead of being arrogant. I'm Mr. Know-it-all, and that's what history gives you by understanding how the central bank got developed in 1913 and what it has done since then to devalue the dollar and put us in a never-ending inflation spiral, now being mimicked by the rest of the world. Right.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of sobering that we would have someone like yourself say, "I'm reading 15 biographies about a president."
Yeah.
It's pretty sobering.
I mean, you and I both read a lot.
Yeah.
How many biographies have you read about presidents?
Probably between presidents and the periods associated with the 17 and 1800s, probably 20 or 30.
Okay.
So I'm probably in the far left quadrant of people.
You're in the 1%.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Franklin, the Team of Rivals, all those books. I've read all those, and every book on Washington and Jefferson. They're heroes to me. Those people were heroes. And when you stop and think of what they actually did, they're absolutely amazing. But again, we're further off the track.
Yeah.
New
Well,
level.
I would recommend, by the way, and add to your 15 presidents, add Ben Franklin. So the best biography I've ever read, I think, is the Walter
that would be in my
Isaacson.
top 5. Yeah.
That was really, really good. And I haven't read nearly as many as Anthony, but the Ben Franklin one, I would add, even though he wasn't a president, I would add him. He was a badass too. So
A founding father.
yes.
Anything written by Isaacson
That's
is
true.
worth a read. Yeah. Anything. You just reach up, Walter Isaacson, reach up, grab it off the shelf. He did a Steve Jobs one. I mean, he's just it's always 800 pages.
Yeah.
It's the tough part about reading his books.
So let's go to coffee. Coffee and collagen. Did this start with coffee or start with collagen?
With collagen.
With collagen.
Yes.
So tell listeners why collagen was important to you, and what was the genesis of this, and why collagen?
I noticed collagen works to get rid of sunspots, wrinkles, to have healthy joints, and so on and so forth. But I didn't like the taste of it. And every single time I have been to the shelf, I have noticed that collagen has an artificial taste. They add, I don't know, raspberry, orange, you name it, taste. But it's artificial. I dislike it. And I get it because collagen tastes nauseating, disgusting. It is, to be very honest. I added coffee because I love the taste of coffee. But after reading many, many books about collagen, proteins, amino acids, I realized you need certain amount of minerals and vitamins in order to absorb it, such as copper, vitamin C. Yet not a single collagen out there in the market has copper. Not a single one. Some have vitamin C, but not a single one has copper. This one has it. Also, you need to grow your hair. You need biotin and pantothenic acid. Not a single one has it. Only coffee gen. Also, what else? You need zinc to strengthen your bones and your nails. Not a single collagen in the market has it. So, supplements have failed in this area. And I have read many, many books about collagen proteins. That's why I developed this customized product for beauty. I want to boost the customer's self-confidence.
Love it. So, okay, collagen, coffee. Just so listeners know, Anthony and I both have a cup right now. Before we started, Louis brought us the product. We went and got hot water, and we just impromptu made the coffee. We mixed it together. And to me, it's a little different than normal coffee, but
yeah,
I like the taste. You know, my first impression was like, well, this doesn't taste like what I'm expecting, but then I'm like, well, who cares? It tastes good to me. I don't know your feelings, Anthony.
No, it's terrific. Is your formula patented?
And no, because it's not possible to run a patent with it or to register a patent, because I am just adding new ingredients to a formula. I didn't create a new way to develop a product.
My wife and I have been putting collagen in our coffee for 10 years now, the blue container. And it's pretty benign to have that in there. But this would change my attitude in the afternoon for my afternoon cup of coffee, which moves away from a black coffee to something with a little bit of flavor. So kudos to you for coming up with this. Now, the question I have has to do with all the additional ingredients. What does that add in terms of expense, production expense? You know, if someone's going to produce the standard collagen that they produce today in that blue container you see on every shelf at Whole Foods and what have you, you know, let's say it costs, you know, $100 for 5 pounds to produce it. What's the impact of all these extra vitamins on your production cost?
It's a good question. It doesn't raise the price to the consumer a lot. It doesn't. Maybe probably $2, but I mean it's reasonable, I guess.
Yeah. So you're getting the value.
Yes.
Out of it.
Yes. Not a single collagen out there has it. A formula as complete as this one, and I have many testimonials. I gotta apologize to your audience because English is not my first language, but I'm trying my best.
You're doing great. No problems.
Interesting.
So okay, let me ask a better question. Would you say it's safe to say that the average collagen product out there, people are just wasting their money because it doesn't have that and they're getting very minimal impact? Or maybe they're not fully wasting, but is it absorbing 0%, 10%, 50% what it should by adding all this other stuff? How much more effective does that make it?
Exactly right on the money. They're not wasting their money, but they're not absorbing everything. I ran a test with a third-party lab in order to demonstrate that it can be absorbed by the human gut. Yet not a single collagen out there has a test like this. This product has it. I would encourage everybody to read. Don't trust me. Just trust the science and read upon the product and the science behind it.
So you have a great product. What's your go-to-market strategy? How are you gonna get the word out? How are you gonna get this on the shelves at Whole Foods? How are you gonna, expand this the reach and the brand here?
It's a great question. I presented the product to KeHE. Are you familiar with this company?
No.
It's the biggest distribution company for food and natural supplements in America. They have like 16 or 17 warehouses nationwide. It's huge. It's a whale. KeHE, KeHE. And the purchasing manager told me, you know what? I love it. This is it. And this lady told me, if you present me with sachet, individual packaging, I'll place you in many retail stores. I'll take care of it. So that's my first move. Another one is that I want to team up with influencers. That's I have to do it. It's crucial, essential. Also, I'm teaming up with a company that helps companies like mine to place our product in Costco. My goal is to have it in Costco in 2 years.
That would be great.
2027.
You know, this is going to sound like I'm playing up to you, but last week on the counter at home, I found 2 sachets of a collagen mix of some sort that my wife was putting into hot water. And I'm pretty sure it was coffee and collagen and some other vitamins. So the advice to put it in a sachet where it's a single serve and people can take it on the road, they can take it to work. Probably a really stroke of genius by that person to tell you that. And she's on top of everything new, which I'm sure your wife is too, because our wives are very similar in terms of their approach to health. So that's interesting that they want to do that. Now, when they do that to you, do they require how much do you have to front them? In other words, most of the time you develop a new potato chip, Whole Foods says, "Great, we'll put your potato chip on the shelf. Send us 500 cases, and we'll see how it does, and we'll let you know how it goes. And if they go, we'll pay. If they don't go, come and get them." Are you in that position now as you expand your business?
I'm going to expand step by step.
Okay.
We agreed upon that, Keiki and I, that we will expand just very baby steps, which is healthy.
Mm-hmm. Do you have financial backing behind you? Do you have any investors behind you? Or?
Just my business partner and I, just from my own pocket. I keep a very frugal life. I don't waste my money in, rubbish. I don't. Believe me, I'm very frugal.
Okay, back to the, and I think Anthony has more questions here, but why? I mean, why was collagen the so important thing versus everything else? I want to go deeper into that, because there's a lot of ways you can go with health and nutrition, right? There's endless products. So let's go deeper into why collagen, why you think it's so important as a doctor.
Most of the folks out there on the street walking have very low self-confidence. Even the most beautiful women on the street, I can tell you they have low self-esteem. They do, because they didn't, they were not able to be the supermodel, or they were not able to work on Hollywood, or because they were not able to marry the successful businessman or whatever. Everybody has some frustration behind themselves. Everybody has a little bit of low self-esteem. And if the moment they improve their beauty, that improves their self-esteem. And I can tell you that it changes their lives, the way they behave, and the way they interact with children, with their spouses. So that's my goal, to improve their self-confidence.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I think you have more questions. I got a feeling over here.
It's not so much questions. It's more around the overall impact of the rest of the diet. I mean, having collagen delivered in the most efficient way possible is terrific. But if you don't maintain a generally healthful diet, really is not going to, your skin's not going to get better, and your bones aren't going to get stronger or stay strong, and as the case may be. So are you working on any of that in terms of the way this should be used? Is there any messaging you plan to use to talk to people about how they should be approaching their overall health?
Exactly, on social media. I'm launching new videos constantly in order to educate customers and potential customers, because they also need to exercise. They need to breathe in and out. They need to do many, many things in order to, not only for collagen to actually work, but to be happy, to thrive in life.
How are you finding your experience as recruit might not be a great word, but to draw influencers into your sphere and get them to utilize. What's your experience been so far with that?
The thing is that I have not done it, not yet. So I couldn't say anything about it.
Okay.
I will do it next year in 2026.
Yeah. Just a piece of advice or a bit of experience with that, as I've done that in the past. They're going to make the distributors of the product seem like they're charitable. They generally want a lot for their reach, their purported reach that they have. And what we found in our research was, while they might have 1 million followers, their reach and their impact is fleeting. It goes away just as fast as it goes. It's like when a soccer team pays too much for a particular player. They come in, now they're rich. They don't seem to score the goals like they used to. Things kind of, they go. And it's an area fraught with both disappointment, and then if something goes wrong with that influencer, they get themselves sideways in the public eye, your product is tied to that person forever. So it's just a word of caution. It's not as simple as it sounds.
Okay.
The case history is to try to find the up and comer, not the person at the top of the totem pole, if you will.
I see.
So the person that's building, 5,000 followers a month, grab them when they're down here, and then ride them to the top. Because your approach to business is very wise. Is to walk before you run. The same thing goes. Don't go after. Never mind. I won't use his name. Don't
Mr. Beast. He's going after Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast, yeah. Mr. Beast would be great. Mr. Beast, you're going to have to sign your life away to get Mr. Beast. So anyway.
I don't know who at number 2. I'm pretty sure he's number 1. I don't know who number 2 is.
Yeah. But doing more of this, and finding those up-and-coming people and, helpful people, and I think is very wise.
Well, and you're good at this. Like, you can go, you've just flowed. I mean, we started out with coffee and we're talking about founding fathers and, we've been all over the place. So that's great.
I hope you don't mind. I love what the founding fathers did. It's just fantastic. Truly, it is.
No,
it was the example. You guys set the example for France, for the French Revolution. When was the war? 1776?
Well, the Declaration of Independence was 1776. But
the French Revolution was 1789.
Yeah.
You guys did it before the French, and they're so posh about being the flagship or the number one. No, you guys did it before everybody else.
Yeah, but they didn't have a plan. After they seized control, they didn't have a plan. They ended up back where they were before the revolution. So
it's because they didn't have Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, Adams. They didn't have that group of people. I mean, I will also tell you, the American thing could have played out a whole lot different if it weren't for George Washington,
sure.
Right? Because he was the unanimous choice and to be king. They said, we would like to elect you king. And Washington said, I don't want to be king. And then they made him a president, right? But the wisdom from that group of men, and forget the sacrifice and how many of them actually died that we don't know their names because they died in the war or because, they were considered traitors to the British. But the fact that Washington was humble enough and didn't want to be king completely changed history, right? And then even they would have just kept electing him president forever. And he's the one that said, 2 terms is enough. And I don't think he didn't like doing it. He wanted to go back to,
farming.
Yeah, yeah. And he went broke, by the way. That's the other thing that disgusts me now. These politicians that make $170,000 a year and they got 30, 40, 50, $80 million net worths from insider trading. And again, it's Republicans and Democrats both. Nancy Pelosi gets the most crap about it, but there's plenty of people that are terrible at it. Washington basically went almost bankrupt. Right? I mean, because he didn't have somebody to run. What was the plan? What is it called? Not anyway, there's a name, whatever the estate was. But he went really, I mean, pretty much went broke fighting the war and being away from his business for that long.
Yeah, Mount
Right.
Vernon.
Mount Vernon, there you go. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I like the way you put it. You said Andrew Jackson's a badass. They were all badasses. So, yeah. What else do you want people to know about this coffee? What else? I mean, if they want it, what do? They go to your website?
They can go to my website, www.bolmanbros.com, which is BOLMANNBROS.com. Bolmanbros.com.
And we'll put that in the show notes as well.
Great.
Yeah.
And you see I'm going to bring a very sophisticated word. It has a sesquipedalian word, a very long word. Coffeelagen. We're going to change it for just coffee gen. Simple.
Okay.
It's already registered brand at the U.S. Patent Office.
Okay.
It's going to be on the shelf next year, 2026, thanks to Kehi, the company.
Okay. But right now they can get it on your website. They
Yes.
can mail order on your website. Okay.
Is this your full-time effort, or are you still practicing medicine?
I still practice medicine. I'm also on real estate in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm a busy bee. I think that's the term in English. Yeah, but I'm a medical doctor. I practice and I assess patients pretty much every day.
What's the real estate strategy that you have?
Flipping, that's what I do. I buy old houses, I remodel them, and sell it to the highest bidder.
How long you been doing that?
8 years.
Okay. What got you into that?
Well, that's a good
opportunity, or just? I mean, a lot of times, like a lot of businesses I've been in, they just all of a sudden it was there in front of me, and next thing I knew, I was in a business, right? So,
My brother and I wanted to invest in something. We had some money, liquidity, and we found this. How can I say this? This expo in my city, and some people came to our city to the expo and offered us this possibility. And I said, you know what? That sounds very cool to flip houses in America, San Antonio, Texas. And I said, let's go to the event and let's talk to the people. And so we did it, and it has been profitable so far.
And you got multiple homes in process now. The recent real estate difficulties notwithstanding.
Not at the moment. I rent them because at the moment the real estate business is not that good.
Right. Right. Yeah, we found that with a lot of builders that are stuck holding on to their homes and so forth.
Yeah, for the last 2 years or so, it will change. I'm optimistic.
Randy and I have hands in a home improvement business, so maybe we could talk about that when we're done here.
yeah. You can see Anthony's mind.
One of the many things that we're involved in that we shouldn't be.
All right. Well, Louis, any final wisdom you want to share with our listeners, or anything else you want to make sure people know before we sign off here?
I will quote my idol, Henry Ford. If you believe you can achieve something, you are right. If you believe you cannot achieve something, you are right too.
Love it. Great
Fantastic.
way to
Really
great way
great
to
job.
end.
Really
So, Louis, thank you so much. Listeners, again, look at the show notes or go to the website. Again, it is www.bolman with 2 N's, brothers, or BROS.com to order the product. The product tastes great. And as always, go to your podcast app, download, subscribe, tell your friends. Check us out on the website for free tools. Thank you for listening, and everybody have a fantastic day.
Great job. Thank you.
Listen and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Click follow for more content like this, or go to talesofabundance.com to join our community and get free tools.